hundreds of concerts in Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guiana, and France. Did you know that she has performed in Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Tortola, Montserrat, Tobago, and Antigua? Did you know that Ofilia has won many awards? The Maracas d'Or in Paris, the Cicero Medal of Honor, and the Caribbean Cultural Icon Award from the Carafesta Committee, the only person to be awarded in the musical field. Did you know that Ofilia is also a university-trained social worker? Her social action reaches cultural enthusiasts, senior citizens groups, and the youth. Did you know that Ofilia has thus far recorded 17 albums, which have all proved successful to varying degrees, but it is her live performances that have solidified her as a Caribbean star. Today we salute Ofilia Olivache Marie and the good folks of the National Bank of Dominica, the NBD. Up next, the DBS Major Morning News.
DBS News. Fresh in the morning. Eye-opening and balanced. The DBS Morning News starts right now.
This morning's headlines: attorneys representing double murder accused Jonathan Lear are seeking bail on firearm trafficking charges. In news from the region, Guyana asked the World Court to block Venezuela's Essequibo election plans. And on the international scene, Russia carries out a massive missile and drone attacks on energy targets in Ukraine. Well, good morning. I'm Gavin Richards with the DVS Major Morning News. The details right after this.
Ever wondered what's in your milk? These are the following benefits of Distinction Milk. It's a great source of calcium and protein, vitamin A and D added. It's definitely not a filled milk like some of the other brands. Distinction Milk texture and taste is great for shakes, baking, pouring cream, and is side for mashed potatoes and much more. Even better, because of its rich texture, Distinction Evaporated Milk can be stretched. Isn't it great to know what's in your milk? Distinction Milk, distributed by Fine Foods Inc.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
DBS News.
Welcome back. First up in the news this morning, attorneys representing double murder accused Jonathan Lear are seeking bail on firearm trafficking charges. On Thursday, attorneys Lennox Lawrence, Wayne Norde, and Jody Luke, led by King's Counsel Andrew Pilgrim, who was absent from the court, presented their submissions during a formal bail hearing before Magistrate Michael Loda. Ronaldo Luke reports.
On January 16th, the police preferred a new charge of firearm trafficking against the U.S. national. The offense allegedly occurred on December 4th, 2023. However, defense attorney Lawrence argued that the charges were merely a tactic by the prosecution to keep Lear in custody after the High Court had granted him bail on the murder charge on November 26, 2024. Lawrence stated his client, who was arrested on December 1st, 2023, was already in police custody on the date that the police allege that he committed the trafficking offense. He cited Section 4.3 of the Bail Act, stating that bail must be granted if just cause exists, asserting that there was no reason to deny Lair bail for the firearm trafficking. Addressing concerns over the prevalence of gun-related crimes, Lawrence argued that such concerns should not be a guiding principle in deciding bail, as each case must be judged on its own merit. He also asserted that Lair is entitled to the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Additionally, he referenced a February 6, 2025 High Court ruling of Justice Taylor Alexander, which removed some of the stringent conditions attached to Lair's bail for murder, including the requirement for him to relinquish his U.S. citizenship. The attorney contended that Lair has no adverse criminal history and there was no indication that he should be held in custody for his own protection or for public safety. Opposing the bail application, Director of Public Prosecution Shuma Dharampal expressed concerns that Lair would abscond if granted bail, given the severe penalties associated with firearm trafficking. Regarding the timing of the charges, Dharampal dismissed the defense's argument, stating there was no legal limitation on when the charges could be brought and that the 13-month delay should not be a factor in the court's decision. She also cited Section 7, subsection 2 of the Bail Act, asserting that the circumstances did not favor granting bail and that it was in the public's interest for Lair to remain in custody. The presiding magistrate, Michael Loda, has adjourned the matter to March 12, 2025 for the decision of the court. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
And we say thanks to Ronaldo Luke for that very comprehensive report. In some more news this morning, the Public Service Union is set to meet with the government negotiating team today to continue salary negotiations. The General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Letar, says following the meeting, the union will meet with its general membership.
We commenced negotiation with government 2 weeks ago, or we are scheduled to meet with them tomorrow at 10 o'clock to continue our discussion. When we met last week, we looked at a number of non-salary matters. We have not concluded on that, and we are expected to continue discussion on non-salary matters. Then once that is done, we will start talking about the salary itself. We are looking at 21-24. Government has a proposal for 24-27. Government has not offered an increase for 21-24. The union's position is that we need to conclude negotiations for 21-24, that's the triennium 21-24, before we go to 24-27. And that is our position. The other thing I want to state is the Dominican Public Service Union, we have a policy in place that after every 3 rounds of negotiations, we meet with our members to provide them with an update as to where we are with negotiation. So after tomorrow's meeting, moving forward would be a general meeting with our members, not to recommend that we accept, but to give them an update as to where we are with negotiations. So that is what I can say at this point. How close we are concluding, it depends on what makes sense to us for 21-24. And then, as I said, we look at 24-27. So when we meet with our members, what we'll be talking to them about is 21-24. And then discussion will continue on 24-27 after and only after members would have accepted. But as I speak to DBS Radio now, we are not at the point where we are going to recommend to the members that we accept anything.
And that's General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Letar. Dominica's healthcare system is expected to receive a significant boost with the establishment of an association comprising over 80 nurses residing in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada and Dominica. The association, known as Dominican Nurses United, is being led by Dr. Paula Abraham, a retired nurse from Dominica living in Houston, Texas, Dennis Edwards, who is based in Dominica, and Dr. Mary Mitchell, who resides in New York. The Dominican Nurses United plans to provide material support to the Dominica China Friendship Hospital and community clinics, as well as offer education and training opportunities for nurses in Dominica.
We are really excited about creating this partnership between the nurses in the diaspora and the nurses in Dominica. And the nurses in Dominica are also very enthusiastic, and they too have a desire to see things improve and get better. We call on all nurses everywhere to embrace this opportunity. This is a wonderful opportunity to help our country. I think staying on the sidelines is really not an option at this time.
President of the Dominican Nurses United, Dr. Paula Abraham. In some more news this morning, a 23-year-old of Canefield and a 32-year-old of Jimmet have been remanded in custody at the state prison on separate murder charges. Both men are accused of fatal stabbings. Ronaldo Luke reports.
Ivan Serrant of Benoit in Canefield appeared before Magistrate Michael Loader on Thursday, where the charge was read to him. It is alleged that on March 3rd of 2025 at Canefield, the 23-year-old murdered Jefferson Skerritt, a 28-year-old man from the same community. During the hearing, the accused was not required to enter a plea, as murder is an indictable offense expected to be tried at the High Court. Serrant, who is represented by attorney-at-law Donia Wood-Stewart, is expected to return to court on April 7, 2025, for the start of the preliminary inquiry in the matter. Meanwhile, the police have also preferred a charge of murder against 32-year-old Brandon Ravalier of Jimmet. It is alleged that on February 27, 2025, at Esprit Drive in Jimmet, Ravalier murdered 35-year-old Macpherson Thaddeus Winston of Collio, who resided in Jimmet. The accused appeared before Chief Magistrate Candy Carret George on Thursday at the St. Joseph Magistrate Court. The matter was adjourned to June 17, 2025 for the preliminary inquiry. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
And the Dominica Association of Teachers will recognize 3 prominent Dominican women this morning to commemorate International Women's Day, which is set for tomorrow. A public relations officer of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Juanita Carbon, says the awareness or the awardees have all played their role in promoting gender equality in Dominica.
As a union, the Dominica Association of Teachers, through the Status of Women's Committee, acknowledges the efforts and contributions made by 4 phenomenal women as forerunners in the fight for equity for women in Dominica. These women are Mrs. Celia Nicholas, who served as principal of the Dominica Community High School and was also the president of the Dominica Association of Teachers. She served on the executive of the Caribbean Union of Teachers and was instrumental in the formation of the Status of Women's Committee. Mrs. Josette Matthew, who served as principal of St. Mary's Primary and the facilitator for DAT's workshop on gender equity and gender equality. Recently, Mrs. Matthew acted as president of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Nurse Daphne Douglas. She's a retired community health nurse who advocated on behalf of women and vulnerable children. And Mrs. Ernie Johnfin, who served as the principal of the Castlebruce Primary School. She was also Learning Support Advisor in the Ministry of Education and Education Officer for the Eastern District. Mrs. Johnfin is a community-oriented individual from Saint-Sauveur.
And that's Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Juanita Carbon. She says 2 ceremonies today to recognize 3 of the 4 prominent women will be held at 2 schools.
3 of these women will be recognized at a special assembly to be held on Friday, 7th March 2025 as follows. Mrs. Celia Nicholas at the Dominica Community High School, Mrs. Josette Matthew, and Nurse Daphne Douglas at the St. Mary's Primary. On Friday, 14th March 2025, Mrs. Ernie Johnfin will be recognized in a ceremony to be held at the Castlebrooks Primary School. The Status of Women's Committee of the Dominica Association of Teachers wishes all women in Dominica a very happy International Women's Day 2025.
Public Relations Officer of the Dominican Association of Teachers, Juanita Carbon. In news from the region this morning, Guyana on Thursday asked the International Court of Justice to order Venezuela not to proceed with plans to hold elections in the disputed region of Essequibo, saying a vote would violate a prior court ruling. Venezuela will hold provincial elections on the 25th of May, including for state governors. The government of President Nicolas Maduro passed a law creating a new state in the disputed territory despite the ongoing case at the ICJ. Guyana, in a statement, said the United Nations top court should prohibit Venezuela from conducting elections, which it said flagrantly violates the 2023 order. Guyana said it also requested expedited hearings to prevent what could be serious prejudice to its rights. On the international scene, at least 18 people, including 4 children, have been wounded in an overnight Russian attack in Ukraine. Ukraine's energy and gas infrastructure also came under massive missile and drone shelling. Poland's military says it scrambled fighter jets and activated ground-based air defense systems during the attack. The barrage comes after the United States suspended military aid to Ukraine, including intelligence sharing. Well, that's the news. Let's recap the headlines. Attorneys representing the double murder accused Jonathan Lehrer are seeking bail on firearm trafficking charges. Guyana asked the World Court to block Venezuela's Essequibo election plans, and Russia carries out massive missile and drone attack on energy targets in Ukraine. That's the news. Stay tuned for sports.
The range of Kin juices are 100% natural with no added sugar. Kin offers a range of refreshing juices which are enriched with vitamin C and no added preservatives. Delight yourself in one of Kin's nectars or treat your little ones with a Kinita box drink at a refreshingly low price today. Kin, the juice in our lives. Sold at major supermarkets island-wide. Distributed by Fine Foods Inc.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Just Mobank me. Here's my ID.
Just Mobank me. It's that easy.
The faster, easier way to bank. NBD makes it easy to bank online, anywhere, at any time with Mobanking. The faster, easier way to bank.
The faster, easier way.
So transfer funds on Mobanking.
The faster, easier way.
To pay your bills with Mobanking.
The faster, easier way.
For over 47 years, the National Bank of Dominica Limited has been a cornerstone of our nation's development, standing by our customers at every step. Together, we are shaping a brighter future. We recognize that every journey is different, and we are dedicated to nurturing meaningful relationships. We are here to understand your needs and support your goals. Our personalized services are designed to provide the peace of mind you deserve wherever life takes you. Trust us to be there when it counts. With NBD, you have a partner invested in your success today, tomorrow, and always.
Welcome to the morning sports. Let's begin with boxing news. President of the Dominica Boxing Association, Job Joseph, says Dominica will soon reap the benefits of being affiliated to the newly formed international body, World Boxing. Well, Dominica joined 77 other countries worldwide in moving away from the International Boxing Association and establishing ranks with the newly formed World Boxing in 2023. Well, last week, the International Olympic Committee announced it was granting provisional recognition to World Boxing as it makes a bid to have boxing at the 2028 Olympic Games.
With the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, has banned IBA as the international body for boxing in the Olympics. Dominica actually was probably the 20th or 22nd country in the world to switch from IBA to World of Boxing. Now there's 78 countries that moved since we moved. So Dominica has been well known for doing the right thing when it comes to sports. And to be very honest, most times Dominica travel is the Dominica Olympics that cover everything, and sometimes the government of Dominica. So if the government of Dominica is not no part of an organization, neither the Olympics is no part, I don't think it's fair that we should be part of it. So when I realized the IBA were banned by World of Boxing, I had no choice but to bring it up to my executive. We spoke about it and we did the right thing, was to move away from them.
And that's President of the Dominica Boxing Association, Job Joseph. He says the recognition from the International Olympic Committee will open new doors for Dominica's boxing.
The World of Boxing, which they call WB, they got the recognition from Olympic, IOC, to actually run the Olympic movement and other things that have to do in boxing. Now, if you're not part of this grouping and you still remain under IBA, any young man that have a dream to be in the Olympics, that dream is lost away unless his country move from IBA to the World of Boxing. Number two, if there is 200 countries that box in the world, maybe more than 100 of them is the Olympic Committee that usually fund them. Dominica is a perfect example. We get funding from the Olympic Committee. So if the international body, which is the IOC, give our national body, which is the NOC, and then they give us, we should be loyal and we should do what's right. And I think we did a very good movement. Every young boxer, no matter what part of the world they're from, their goal is to be an Olympian. So that's benefit number one. That's a big news. If you're not part of World of Boxing, there is no way you can represent the country to even go to a qualification, the Pan American Games, the World Championship. All these are incentives. Without World of Boxing, you cannot take part in the stuff.
And that's President of the Dominica Boxing Association, Job Joseph. Let's move to some cricket news as maiden first-class centuries from Ryan John and Shadrach Descartes have put the Windward Islands Volcanoes in a commanding spot in their CWI regional four-day matchup with the Leeward Islands Hurricanes in St. Lucia. Well, the Windwards, they batted first and they were bowled out for 480. Shadrach Descartes got 119, Ryan John 109, Kenneth Demba 75. We had Ocean Thomas taking 4 for 66 for the Hurricanes and Justin Graves 3 for 102. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes in their turn at the crease, they were 165 for 7 at stumps on day 2. Mikael Louis was not out on 82. Jamal Hamilton got 40. Dominica's Gillan Tyson has 4 for 31 and Ryan John 3 for 26. While the Leeward Islands, they're trailing by 315 runs heading into day 3 today. Well, let's now hear from the two Centurions, Ryan John and Shadrach Descartes. Ryan John says he was happy to cash in.
The truth is I don't feel like it's sinking yet, but I must say that I'm very grateful for that opportunity to do that. I mean, must give thanks and praise to the Most High. And I remember earlier, prior to this game, I told you that I am going to score 100. I don't know if you remember, but I just feel grateful and just give thanks, that's all. I believe every man has their day, so I was just waiting on my opportunity. I mean, obviously working as a team, and when fellas get the opportunity, they're pulling their weight. And today was my day, so I decided to put my hand up and delivered, and I'm just grateful.
How happy are you to contribute with both bat and ball thus far in this game?
I know what it meant to the team, what it means to the team to really doing the job, especially with the new ball. We wasn't getting wickets, and we know obviously that would put a lot of pressure on our spinners because they would have to bowl the frontline batsmen, which is not something that you would really want in a cricket match, as a bowling team. So it was just about backing our skill. Obviously, the conditions was conducive for fast bowling, and we utilized it well today and reap the benefits.
What do you think the team should focus on heading into day 3 to further strengthen that position?
I think it's very important for us to bowl out the rest of the men, or as little as possible tomorrow, bright and early, and go back tomorrow, see how much more we can chip in as fast as possible, and then go back and see if we can knock them off again.
And that's the Windward Islands Volcanoes player Ryan John. Meantime, Shadrach Descartes says it was special to achieve the landmark in front of his home crowd.
I don't think words could explain how I feel right now, especially getting it at home, a maiden turn at home. It was a special occasion, especially that we celebrating independence, happy independence to my people of St. Lucia. It was a great feeling.
You had a few starts in the previous game but got out. What was the driving force to push you on to this wonderful knock today?
I think just the thought of playing home, it was always something I look forward to, always something I visualize, going to be one home after, falling short after getting stats in the previous games.
How challenging of a knock was it out there considering the position that the team was in?
It was a bit challenging given that the position the team was in, also the conditions out there. It was a bit difficult, but, just staying tight and positive. And in the end, it worked out.
And that's the Windward Islands Volcanoes player Shadrach Descartes. Well, in other matches, a century for Ruston Chase has put Barbados in the driver's seat as they look to push for a possible victory today in their matchup with the combined campuses and colleges team. Well, the CCC made 262 batting first with Ruston Chase getting 5 wickets. Barbados responded with 428. Ruston Chase got 122. Kevin Wickham 95 and Jason Holder 39. While the CCC were 2 for 1 at stumps in their second innings, still 164 runs behind. Meantime, Joshua Da Silva got his 3rd straight century, leading Trinidad's fight back against the West Indies Academy. Trinidad were 91 for 6 before they were bowled out for 304. Joshua Da Silva, he made 120. Carrie Pear got 42. Johan Lane took 5 for 56 for the West Indies Academy. While the Academy, they were 165 for 2 at stumps on day 2 with Akim Ogis getting 49. And the defending champions Guyana will surely be eyeing a victory today as Jamaica are in all sorts of trouble. Jamaica were bowled out for just 44 runs in that encounter. Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, he took 6 for 17, and Neil Smith 4 for 21 for Guyana. Guyana in the second innings was 68 for 1. So the scores in that game is Guyana 339 and 68 for 1. Jamaica 44 all out. Guyana, they're leading that game by 363 runs. Well, let's move over to the women now as the regional women's Super 50 overs title will be decided today as Trinidad meets Barbados in the grand finals this morning in St. Kitts. For Barbados, they ended the round-robin phase on top of the point standings with 35 points. Trinidad was second on 32, Guyana third on 28, and the Windward Islands fourth on 19 points. Jamaica were 5th and the Leeward Islands 6th. Well, Barbados will meet Trinidad in the finals this morning. The Windward Islands will play Guyana in the 3rd place match, and Jamaica will take on the Leeward Islands in the 5th place match. We can also tell you that there's cricket action on today in the Sports Division Secondary Schools under 20 cricket program. That competition is resuming after the break for the carnival period. The Academic School of Learning will battle the Castleville Secondary School in the only game today at the Benjamin's Park. Let's also tell you that the West Indies Masters, they came up short in their bid, as they suffered their first defeat in the International Masters T20 tournament, losing to Sri Lanka yesterday. Sri Lanka batted first, made 173 for 9 in their 20 overs. Gunaratne got 64 and Kumasanja Akara 47. We had Ashley Nurse taking 3 for 23 and Tino Best 2 for 43 for the West Indies. The West Indies, in reply, chasing 174 to win. They could only get 152 for 5 in 20 overs. Dwayne Smith got 49 and Lendell Simmons 37. The West Indies lost that game by 21 runs. The West Indies will play India in their next match on Saturday. Looking at the point standings heading into today's competitions, of course, India on top of the point standings with 6 points. Sri Lanka also has 6. The West Indies 4 points. Australia 2 points. South Africa 2 points. And England, they have gotten off the mark. And the West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says he has made no decision on stepping down as the head coach of the St. Lucia Kings franchise ahead of the upcoming Caribbean Premier League. Sammy coached the St. Lucia Kings to their first CPL title last year, and the CPL, which is scheduled for August, is expected to clash with some West Indies assignments.
However, I've had conversations with Miles on, the terms of my contract. I also, St. Lucia is a franchise that is also very, very dear to me. I've been there for 11 years from the inception of CPL. Winning last year meant so much. You saw what it meant to the people and to us as well. However, I don't intend to compromise my job in terms of not being able to prepare my players. I think we have India right after CPL, and most of our players will be playing in the Caribbean Premier League anyways. And that bridge, I know, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to be coaching the St. Lucia Kings this CPL season. Do I leave earlier? That's a conversation myself and director in terms of how our preparation will be, whether in India or Dubai or even in the Caribbean. But that's a conversation myself and the director will have.
And that's the West Indies coach, Darren Sammy, taking us to the end of the DBS Morning Sports Report. Of course, we'll have some more sporting highlights for you at lunchtime during the 1:50 news. Also, a programming note, a reminder that you want to tune in to DBS Radio this morning for live coverage of the Exceptional Women's Awards ceremony that is taking place at the State House this morning. It begins from 10 o'clock. Remember, tomorrow we're celebrating International Women's Day. So, the Exceptional Women's Awards ceremony on this morning at the State House, and you can join DBS Radio on all our frequencies and also live on Facebook and YouTube for that starting at 10 o'clock. Well, on behalf of the entire News and Sports Department, Gavin Richards saying good morning, and we'll see you next time.
For over 47 years, the National Bank of Dominica Limited has been a cornerstone of our nation's development, standing by our customers at every step. Together, we are shaping a brighter future. We recognize that every journey is different, and we are dedicated to nurturing meaningful relationships. We are here to understand your needs and support your goals. Our personalized services are designed to provide the peace of mind you deserve wherever life takes you. Trust us to be there when it counts. With NBD, you have a partner invested in your success today, tomorrow, and always.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS News. Accurate, up-to-date, professional. We bring you the news of the nation via 3 newscasts, Monday to Saturday at 7 a.m. The DBS Major Morning News, 1:15 p.m. Your lunchtime news bulletin, and at 6 in the evening, the DBS Evening News. Call us at 448-4302. Listen on www.dbcradio.net. Don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/DBS Radio.